Hello, I'm Mario Ortiz from the Orion. I'm the opinion editor and the staff writer here. Welcome to my interview. You guys want to introduce yourself?
Okay. Hi, I'm Roni Jean. This is my band. This is...
Hi, I'm Luis.
And I'm Jake.
So, all right. Well, let's. When did you guys start officially?
It was during the pandemic. Yeah,
During the pandemic?
It was like 2020. I think it was like May, I think. That's when we wrote our first song. And we weren't really expecting to do more music. It was just like one song we recorded and released, and then we just kept writing more songs. Like, hey, let's just keep doing this, and yeah, that's where we are now.
Yeah, it started like as one single. It was gonna be one off, and then we ended up doing another one soon after that we wrote right away, and that was closer to what our current sound is like. And then we said, okay, we'll just do 2 songs and like a cover or something. And then it turned into 4, then 6. Then we were like, we might as well make just a whole album out of it.
What about when it came down to recording the album? Well, first off, what's the title of the album? Can we get the title one time?
Resting Sad Face. Yeah.
And where does the title come from?
Actually we came up, it was like one of our rehearsals, and I mean, for me, like, I feel like when I don't smile, it looks like I'm sad, and that's what Jake noted, and he was like, hey, are you okay? And I'm just like, no, I'm fine, like, I just have a resting sad face, and then we're like, oh, that could be the band name, that could be the album name, so yeah, it's like, let's keep that, so, yeah.
What about the making of the album? Like, can you guys go over how it started and like the technical stuff?
Yeah, so we would record in Apollo School of Music. It'd be just a big empty room with like maybe like a piano in there.
Where's that at?
That's off Mangrove.
Okay.
So they had an empty room. Jake and I would set up drums, and I would mic them there. I bring all my equipment. They don't have their own, so we would set up drums there, and then I would DI guitar and bass, and then have Ronnie sing live. And that's how we did most of the main recording. Then we would just overdub and reamp, so I would just put, our sounds through amplifiers or other pedals and get different sounds. And then we would just do the vocals at Ronnie's apartment.
And how many days did it take, or?
This was a course of over a year,
Oh, okay.
Only because we had to stop and go because of the pandemic. And then also we would just write new songs as we went too. Also, I work a full-time job. I'm the guy who mixed the album. So I only had like a couple hours a day to mix it. Well, at the same time, I was working on another album from the local funk band Sounds Good. So that kind of made this go on longer than it really should have, but it all got done at the end anyways.
When making the album, and you said you're adding songs, so when did you feel like it was done? When you just ran out of songs to write, or just when did it come to you?
We wrote our 8th song, and we feel like, hey, this is like, they're all cohesive, they're all the same theme. And so there was like, yeah, I think that is. I mean, if we first started, I was like, oh, maybe we could do an EP, but once we wrote our 8th song, I was like, oh, okay, let's turn it into an album. So, yeah.
Yeah, we mostly knew when it was done too, when, like she said, when it's like it had a cohesive feel, but also we were gigging around the same time we were writing these songs, so we would just play them live. And it's like, yeah, this feels good, this would go well. And there was a few we rejected before, because how it starts is Ronnie and I will make a demo and we'll present it to our other bandmates. And if that feels good, then we go from there. But like not all of them made it even past us making a demo. So that's how we knew if we can't present it in a way that's like that makes sense, then we're not really gonna go forward with it.
And on drums, how much liberty, like, you hear the demo, do you try to stick with that demo, or do you try to add your own flair with the songs?
Usually there was a really good drum track in the demo, because you were really good at programming drum parts, so at least like the root of kick and snare patterns and that sort of thing, or where things are going to build or die back down, that was really easy, and I wanted to stay true to that because it just felt good to what they were doing. one thing that was difficult for me was envisioning the finished piece as I was recording the drum track, because we would record that first, and I'd have the demo, which I probably should have listened to more before I recorded each song. And so then I would do that, and then a lot of things would be added on where later on I was like, "Ooh, I wish I had done something there, wish I had done something there." But that's also kind of the game of recording that way, and this is how a lot of things are recorded. So it's having that like future sight of like, oh, what can I do to not be in the way of future things, but also support the music that's going to be there eventually.
And let's go a little bit deeper. So how long have you guys been at, just personally, like your first musical experience, you know? Like how far back can you guys go? Just
Well, I mean, so I mean, I've been doing music since I was 4, but it was mainly classical piano. My mom made me practice a lot, even though I didn't want to, but I'm thankful that I'm still like kept at it. I turned more into doing more rock stuff when I was in junior high, and that's when I learned bass, and that's what I play now in our band. But yeah, piano and bass are my main instruments, and yeah, and I just grew love for indie rock like all throughout high school.
I started when I was 18, and when I got to Chico State, I bought an acoustic guitar, and I would play all the time, more than I would actually study, which is why my first major didn't work out, was kinesiology. And so then I got interested in production around the same time, because I was really into the Beatles, and they were a studio band for like half their time they were together. So I'd really like study how they did, and I really got into reading about their production, their arrangement decisions with the production, and I think that kind of reflected on the album, because I felt like the production was part of the actual songwriting and arrangement too. So pretty much 18 until now.
And I started when I was like 7 or 8 playing drums. Took some lessons growing up, and then really got into it in high school with like jazz band and that sort of stuff. That's when I started really like buckling down and practicing it, rather than just playing, which is cool too. Yeah, and kind of went over from there, moved to Chico, and started playing some groups, and that kind of opened up my gigging realm a little bit.
He actually didn't really play indie rock until we asked him to. So we knew him as a jazz guy, but now he's definitely an indie rocker now.
and who else is in the band that's not here? Or whoever's other official members?
So in the studio, it was us 3,
Okay.
with some special guests for like instruments we don't play, like cello, for example. And for live stuff, and hopefully future recordings too, we have Jacob McDonald. He's another friend of us too. We knew him as a jazz guy as well too, but he actually plays a lot of genres.
Yeah.
He plays in other bands as well.
What does he play?
He plays with Meli Farias and Sounds Good too. So he's all over, and he plays in all these jazz combos in town too. So.
And what instrument again?
He's the piano keyboard.
Yeah.
So he helped us really flesh out our sound live, because at first we didn't start as a live band. It was just studio because of the pandemic. But we needed somebody we trust that we all instantly would connect to. We've all been friends for a really long time, so it was the perfect fit.
Yeah, before that I was trying to like balance between playing keys and bass at the same time, and like yeah, it was cool, like it was a cool look, but like yeah, it was just too hard, especially I would sing lead vocals, so
Yeah, it'd be a lot kind of like Geddy Lee. That's some
yeah.
Geddy Lee.
I tried to.
So if we go back to the album, is there any favorite tracks that, you know, it's hard to pick a favorite track obviously, but what's your favorite track that maybe you liked recording, but what's the other track that you like live? Is there a song that you like playing more live than that's like on the album, you know, like?
Pretend you're not there.
Well, yeah, Pretend's a good example. For me personally, though, I think how we play Almost Not Ideal live is probably better than the actual recording, only because like we're so comfortable with that song live now that like the dynamics are really good and like really powerful. But like I feel like the general consensus in our band of our favorite live in general is probably Pretend. That's why we saved it for last.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like one of our harder stuff. more distortion, a lot louder. It's our faster song too. There's, I don't know. I wrote most of the instrumentals so it would make people mosh, and we finally got that when we did the album release. So
There you go.
that was really came full circle. Is all I wanted.
But any other favorite tracks on the album that maybe you don't like really like playing live? Like you don't feel like it works out live, or do you think all the songs work out live?
I think all the songs work out live pretty well.
Yeah.
Darkened Lens is probably a really significant one. That one took like the longest to record because during that time we were recording, like some of us got COVID or were exposed to COVID, so we had to take like months to isolate and not rehearse. And we also had a string quartet and a saxophone player in that song. We recorded a live like recording music video for that one, so that was like super fun. So yeah.
Yeah, I think Dark and Lens, like artistically, is like our best song, only because like every element is so like drew from so many different places. Like on drums, it was like in general, it was a big breakthrough. Like on drums, I used samples on it too. Like Jake would trigger samples with his drums to make it more like a Jay Dilla kind of pop to it. We had that string quartet, which bands like not only just classical, but like soul bands like Curtis Mayfield and the Last Shadow Puppets. We drew inspiration from them to do the strings. I wanted like some grungy bass, so we got we got a distortion pedal for her.
Yeah.
I felt like there's like some synthesizer in the background. There's just a lot of like elements that you wouldn't think would go together that just mesh so well. Like I used the lap steel from the 1920s on that song. Like I don't know, we were just looking for weirder sounds.
Yeah, just throwing everything you can.
Exactly. Yeah, that's our like kitchen sink song right there.
What are you feeling like? What's the plan? What do you feel like? What's next after this album? What do you want to do besides obviously more live shows and stuff?
Well, yeah, definitely play out of town for sure.
I feel that.
The main goal. But in terms of the next project, we already have like a new song that like we're trying to emphasize some synthesizers a little more. I even have one on stage with me now. We're writing some new stuff that is a little more groove. We're trying to do a little more groovy stuff, a little more high tempo, a little more synths. And we're not trying to get planned too much ahead of time, but hopefully like 2 EPs, one with each different themes. This one's for synthy groovy stuff, and then we want one that's going to be like a little more gritty, a little more like pretend, that kind of vibe. Because I feel like we're a really versatile band, but we just want more repertoire. Like if the vibe of this set is going to be some more aggressive stuff, we have it. If we're going to play to like general crowds that just want to dance and have fun, we'll have that. So I think that would be a good goal to have those two projects out.
Like if we go down to the numbers of the songs, and like how it's been doing, is there a song that surprised you that you didn't think people were gonna like or weren't gonna like as much?
Our top song right now is "Pretend You're Not There." Yeah, our grittiest song. So I was surprised about that one, which I mean, like it's a happy surprise. So yeah, like seeing just all this analytics and stuff, it's like, oh yeah, we gotta like maybe we could write more songs like that because that's what people like. So yeah.
Yeah, that one surprised me too because it's such the mode or scale that we used for it is so like harsh. So I thought I was like, the original guitar solo we had for it was so like it was like a note mess. So it was just big and loud and noisy. So I was like, okay, I need to like make it more rhythmic, a little more melodic, and it came out great. And I was like thinking like, it's gonna be a niche kind of thing, but. Even my parents went to see our opening or release show, and they listened to like old country and cumbia and like all the norteños, like like the really like traditional stuff, nothing weird like that. And they were like, "Yeah, that's what you guys got to do more because people really like it." And so it got the reaction I was secretly hoping for, but I wasn't expecting necessarily.
And what's keeping you guys what's it keeps inspiring you guys, you think, right now? What do you guys do to keep feeling inspired to write, and practicing and how do you deal with all that with school and just jobs and everything?
Yeah, school's been like it's hard. It's like I think we're doing a good job like managing like school, work, and also doing music, for me at least. Yeah, I think like I mean the album was like inspired by kind of just events in my life about how bad people have treated me. So that was how I described it or wrote my album. It was just it was mainly like describing like how I felt about that during those times. So it's just being that usually inspires me to songwrite if I have something to say that I really don't want to, say it in just talking, but say it in song form. That usually inspires us, yeah.
I really get a lot of inspiration from listening to different kinds of music. Like I'll listen to something that has nothing to do with our genre, and it'll inspire me to do some idea or some production thing, some tone idea. And like we were open about it to our other bandmates. It's like, hey, like these songs inspired this next one. Can we go for like this kind of vibe? We don't have to reinvent the wheel. So just listening to new stuff all the time has been motivating. And Ronnie and I have been wanting to write songs a little bit quicker so we could play some new stuff, because like we were really thinking about our live settings now, which wasn't a factor before. Like we really want to have our new songs really down live before we record them, because it just feels good for us to play them live and have that cohesive feel all together. So that just, we have a new song that we haven't demoed yet, and we're already like, all right, we really got to hurry so we could play these live with our friends and really, flesh it out and have fun.
Is there anything else you would like people to know about the album, about you guys? Any promotion right now? I know you guys got a show tonight.
We do have a show tonight. It's at the Gnarly Deli with the Bella Locas. And like we were saying, like with different shows, like offering different environments or different styles, it's definitely going to be more grittier, more distorted, more distortions. Yeah, so that's what we plan to do. Yeah, we got some shows lined up in the summer. We are still looking for shows, more shows this summer because we have more availability. But hopefully, yeah, our main goal is to get shows out of town right now. So.
I agree.
And other than the Roni Jean album, I would encourage people to listen to the other album I produced at the same time. It's a local funk band called Sounds Good, which Jake here is the drummer for.
There you go.
If you want to say a word about that, because I had a lot of fun doing it, and
promote.
It was a big part of that
What's
too.
your guys? You tell your social medias, everything.
Instagram and others are at Sounds Good the band, and then Ronnie, you're at Roni Jean Music.
Roni
right?
Jean Music on Instagram, yeah. And then it's just Roni Jean on any other platforms. We have music. Yeah, we have music on. We have our album out on Spotify, Apple Music, on our platform. So so we'd love for people to check that out, please.
And my producer name is at Happy Sunbeam. All the credits will show up like that, but nobody knows me like that yet. But it's okay, we'll get there.
Well, you guys are dope. I've had the privilege to play with you guys and seeing you guys, so I really appreciate you guys doing this interview.
We should do a full band thing sometime for sure.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, we'll do it. Yeah, that'll be good. We should do like a song, like a big jam. You know how like they do the rock documentary?
Yeah.
All, like, stage doing a song together. That would be really cool.
Yeah.